Now, this is the reality. Working hard will never make you rich, but this will. What exactly do I mean by this video? See, working hard can't make you rich. That's a reality. But I'm going to share with you at the end of this video what exactly can help you do that. Do what? Create wealth as far as your life is concerned. See, let me just explain my point by saying working hard can't make you rich. See, there is one thing that is called, have you ever realized one thing about life? And this is the kind of an irony about life, especially the kind of an era that we're living in. You find those people who really work hard, they're the one who earn less. I repeat, have you ever seen these guys who really work hard? You see, fine. You see, when I say work hard, I mean like this, like hard jobs and such kind of things. They are the people who earn less. They're the people who make less money. So why do I say working hard will never make you rich? See, if you work hard, and never forget this as long as you live, and I want you to listen carefully. Just because you are doing a lot does not mean you're getting a lot done. Just because you're doing a lot does not mean you're getting a lot done. You get what I'm saying? See, now the point is this. For example, if I keep on pushing this wall, yeah, I'm really working. I can even sweat when I'm pushing this wall. I can really push this wall, and then when I turn to you guys, you say, Joseph, indeed, you are really working hard. All right, I'm applying energy, but nothing is moving. Just because you're doing a lot does not mean you're getting a lot done. Okay, so what happens is this: when you work hard without having a plan, see what happens for you to get wealthy and rich. There are a combination of a couple of things. See, there is you working hard. Obviously, it is a factor that you need to have. You can't be lazy. So there is you working hard. Okay, you work hard, and then there is a combination of something called the plan. All right, and then here, of which you and me we do not have a control of, it is called luck. Then combination of all this is when now you say you are rich. Depends on how you define rich, or maybe let's say call it success. Again, depends on how you define success to you, okay? So you must have working hard, which is a necessity, it's a requirement, but just alone, you cannot. For example, if you're cooking ugali, excuse me, if you're cooking ugali, you need a combination of what? A water, and you need a what? A flour. All right, you need water and flour, and again, of course, you need fire. So those are the three combinations. Obviously, I know you may talk about cooking stick and what have you. I'm talking about the strategic things. So those are the two things you need. For example, when you're cooking ugali, you need water and you need a what? A flour. Obviously, I mean the maize flour here, for you to realize the ugali thing. But when you have just a flour, you cannot realize ugali. When you have just a water alone, you cannot realize ugali. And the problem that I've seen people do in life is that when you work hard overly, you do not apply the plan. And again, I said this one you cannot control, but you can control how hard you can work, and you control the plan. And that way, you can be able to do what? To become wealthy and become rich. For example, let's give a very real example, because on my videos, I love to give a real example. Let's pick an individual. Let's go to any given town or any given city from your country. All right. Let's go to, in Kenya, let's go to some place like Gikomba. All right. So if you go to Gikomba is like a market. Any other market like you guys we can talk about in your country. You go meet some guys who are selling some vegetables. Or you go meet these guys who in Kenya we call them beba. These guys who carry these big loads and what have you. This message again is not for the Western countries. They may not relate with what we're talking about. Okay. Now you see, you find those guys. Maybe you pay them like 40 shillings, 50 shillings, 100 shillings, or whatever to carry a luggage from one point to the other and what have you. Let's say that guy in a day maybe managed to get 1,200 per day, because these guys they make some good cash. Or maybe let's say they get 1,000 bob a day. This is like $10. Okay. Give or take. Now, this 1,000 bob. Now, the guy is really working hard each and every day. Let's say the guy even works. Some of these guys, they usually work from Monday to Monday. Let's say the guy just rests in one day. So the guy works 6 days in a week. 6 days in a week continuously. The guy is making a flat rate of 1,000 bob. 1,000 bob, it means at the end of the month, or rather at the end of the week, the guy has 6,000. Then it means if you were to continue like this, you multiply by 4, the guy has 24,000 at the end of the what? At the end of the month. That's the reality, and that's the salary. Now, if you work hard without any plan, it's true you will make the 24,000. But becoming wealthy and becoming rich, you need to have a plan. Let's say this guy does not have a plan. He makes this 1,000 bob. He squanders a lot of it. And the guy maybe say, this guy, let's say in a day, maybe the guy, let's say he lives in a house that is paying 6,000 at the end of the month. Okay, so that means in the entire in 4 weeks, then it means a whole one week goes for the rent. Did you get what I've just said? For example, I've said the guy makes 6,000 a week, so multiply that by 4 is 24. And the guy pays a house rent for 6,000, obviously. And that it means out of the 4 weeks, a whole week goes for the what? Goes for the rent. Now the guy has 3 weeks for himself. So the guy has 3 weeks. 3 weeks here, in this case regard, 3 weeks here means the guy has 18,000. So the guy is left with 18,000 for the purposes of what? Development. So the guy has to eat. All right. So let's say the guy eats, maybe talk of 7,000 a month. Let's say the guy has a family. And out of the 18,000, now we are left to 11,000. The guy obviously has to do some transport. Let's say the guy dedicates another 3,000 for the transport. Now that is 10,000 gone. All right. Now, after the 10,000 gone, the guy is left with how much is the guy is left with? The guy is left with something like 8,000. So the 8,000 which is left, now the guy can only now go ahead and buy some clothing and what have you, utilities, water and what. So if you were to do all those deductions, probably the guy will be left with 5,000. All right? Still, the guy can do amazing thing with that 5,000. But how many manage to do something with that 5,000? Okay, so this is the amount of money the guy can actually manage to salvage each and every month. Let's even talk about, forget about 5,000. Let's even talk the guy can manage to salvage 3,000 at the end of the month. 3,000 at the end of the month, it means 100 bob per day. Are we together? Up to that particular point, are we together? I want to show you exactly how the hard work can't make you rich, but the plan and this formula can actually help you do so. Now, see, the guy now managed to save 3,000 at the end of the month, okay? This means it's 100 bob daily. And the guy is making 1,000 bob, which is a flat rate. So immediately, if this guy makes 1,000 bob per day and gets 100 bob immediately, and put that amount of money into an investment. Let's say this guy picks something like an MMF, because they are MMF in Kenya, money market fund, that's what I mean. Because this guy is busy, may not be able to start a business, but the guy is busy. See, now what happens? This 100 bob, the guy puts it in an MMF that is giving him a return of, say, 13%. Let's say after the tax and what have you, maybe let's say, for example, most of the MMF right now in Kenya are like 15%, 14%. Let's say the guy gets something like, let's even talk about 11% out of that money, okay? See, at the end of the year, if this guy was to continually save this 100 bob, of which I am telling you, it's not a complicated mathematics. You can get that 100 bob from 1,000 bob. The guy is left with 9,000 to eat, drink, transport, and all those kind of things. Probably you're watching me, you'd be like, if I'm making 1,000 bob in a day, come on, 100 bob is way small. Yes, let's do that mathematics with that way small. And let's say this guy, in Kenya, there's something called mkoko. I don't know what you cut. A cart. These things the guys pull, where you put the luggage there and what have you. Some of the people do not own that cart. So what they do is that they rent that cart. For them to make this 1,000 bob, probably they made, let's say, 1,300. So the 1,300 was to, so see what we call it, to rent that cart. So the guy now puts this 100 bob continuously, say in an MMF, which is giving him 11%. All right. And the only way you can know the MMF exists is when you incorporate something called financial literacy and the ways of investment. So the guy puts that 100 bob continuously for the rest of the year. Guess what happens? See, we've realized that the guy is making 3,000 or he's saving 3,000 a month. So if you were to multiply that by 12, that is 36,000. 36,000. So the year one of this guy, he has the 36,000. Guess what can happen? He can use that 36,000 plus the interest that has gained. The interest of, say, a flat rate of 10% and what have you, is that is an addition of, let's say, 3,600 and what have you. So probably the guy will have something like 40,000 at the end of the year. There is an additional interest of that amount of money. So what happens now? This 40,000, the guy can decide to go ahead and do what? Come on. Now, the mkokoteni or the cart that he was renting for them to make this money, he can now buy his. Or he can continue renting and use this one that he has bought. Probably, I don't think it even costs that amount of money. Probably the guy can get 2 of them. So guess what happens if guy buys another second one? So if what happens is that he can get 2 of them. So he can lease out the other 2. So he can get another 300 and another 300. So the guy now has 600 savable in a day. All right. Now that means the 600 per day plus the 100 bob, the now guy is saving how much? Come on, then now guy is saving 700. If you multiply that by at the end of the month, how much is that? That's like 21,000. 21,000, if you continuously do that 21,000 multiplied by 12, how much is that at the end of the year? You get what I'm saying? Okay. See, we are relying if this guy does not even get luck. But obviously we need luck each and every day for us to get job, to get an individual who can list your cut and such kind of things. And I'm using that one as an example to explain. Does not mean necessarily you must be guy who is doing the cut and whatever. You might be a mason and you're watching my videos. You might be employed somewhere. Maybe you are a waitress, you are a waiter, you are whoever. The formula that I'm trying to apply here is to make sure that you have a plan. Make sure that you have a plan of winning, because creating wealth, it is intentional. It just can't happen anyhowly. That is exactly how you create your wealth. The guy can be, okay, fine, Joseph, I don't want things to do with money market fund. I don't want things to do with that. I'm a guy who knows in and out of this market. I can be able to buy something that I can be able to resell. So the guy can actually go ahead and buy some packaging bags and maybe place them somewhere where he can resell them to people. So he knows everything about that market. For example, some of the people who are masons and what have you, they can buy some things like vibrators. They can buy and be able to lease and rent them and be able to make some cash out of it. See, in reality, in life, what happens, the solution that you're looking for, it's not so much complicated outside our thought. It is just within around where you live. See, for example, say you do this, you think about, hey, this is what I can be able to do. And that way you offer a solution to an existing problem to attract money and grow yourself. But if you just work hard without any plan, guess what happens? You make 1,000 bob, you squander this amount of money, you become fat, your family is healthy, quote unquote, in terms of physical appearance, but the reality is that their future is not healthy. The future is very malnutritioned. So what you're supposed to understand is this: just overly applying hard work in your life will never make you wealthy. You need to have a plan. This guy needs to do this kind of a donkey work. See, because this is a donkey work, you really need to be out there. You need to be consistency. You need to be there to incorporate discipline and sacrifice. The first year, the guy may not realize any difference. Probably by the second year, the guy may not realize the difference. By the time now you're clocking in the third year, the fourth year, the fifth year, the sixth year continuously, that's time now you tend to realize, oh my goodness, I'm realizing a difference, I'm realizing a change, I'm realizing a growth. And that is exactly how you realize what we call creating wealth. It is a process. It is. I remember one thing. Back when I graduated from university, I'll never cease to forget to share these stories with you guys. It can be a motivation for you. When I cleared my university, there were no jobs. Obviously, welcome to Africa, and specifically in Kenya, there were no jobs. Well, let me not say there were no jobs. Let me say there were inadequate jobs. And I wasn't the lucky one who actually secured those jobs. So I had to put my papers aside and hustle like a dropout. And that's why if you go watch my like 3 years old videos, you're gonna see me in those aprons and whatever. So I did what was available. But I knew at that particular point of me doing that, what I was doing, I had a dream, I had that vision. I had to create something, a platform like this one, and I have to make myself have an online presence. And I put it out there. I know one day it will pay my bills. I knew one day this thing can do this can place me, can take me somewhere. And that is exactly how you do the thing. You cannot just complain on the ground out there. You just, for example, let's see. For example, the first phone that I bought to make content, obviously I got it from what do we call me painting, me selling those paints and what have you, doing the interior design. It's a job that I didn't love, actually. I hated it, but I love it on the fact that it was paying my bills at that particular point. But the cash that I was getting from that is what I used to buy the gadget for me to record such videos. And that's why today, by God's grace, I made the good Joseph, and that's the good Joseph that you watch each and every day. What if I just worked hard? I paid my bills, my water, my electricity, my clothing, my food, and what have you. I just sustained myself. That is purely working hard. But you must have a plan. If you just sit down there, you're selling vegetables, you're employed somewhere, maybe let's say you're masonry, you are just a guy who is whatever the thing that you do, the fact remains, if you just overly rely on the hard work, we do not have the control of luck. This now hits you. For example, you can start getting into this MMF. You can buy those cards. All of a sudden, you realize your business is peaking. See, now you do not have a control over that. See, what we do is to incorporate hard work and a plan. And then the moment luck hits you, when you are somebody who knows how to plan themselves and you are a hardworking person, guess what happens? The success is inevitable. Aki, I really hope I'm making any sense, because if I am not, I don't know what is happening. See, it is good to understand hard work, plan, And also luck comes later. That's what hits you, elevates you, and places you in a point whereby you can be able to grow and do something in your life. I really wish there was not any other formula to create wealth. There is no any other formula. You need to be somebody who is incorporating the hardworking and also the plan and such kind of things. Okay, fine. I know I've repeated those terms like 100 times, but I wanted it to stick to your head for you to understand something and grow yourself. Anyway, guys, guess what? That marks my end of this video, but not the end of me posting a video each and every day. So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and make sure that you can pick that number of mine from the description of this specific video if you would like to get a tailored and customized information as far as the investments are concerned. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.